Next up, I'm sad to report that actor Clarance Williams III had recently succumbed to his battle against colon cancer. Actor was 81 years old, and Clarence Williams III. If you haven't heard of this guy, then you're missing out. This guy was a tremendous actor. He's been in multiple movies. I mean, this guy's career has been spanning over what 5 decades. He's been in film, television, and theater. Now, the way that whenever I watch any of his movies, whenever I watch any of them, he would always have a great presence about him, and he always spoke in such a way that he just knew how to read every character that he played, whether it be comedy or drama. He was a native in New York, and he came from a creative family. What with his grandfather being a jazz composer and a pianist, his father was a musician, and his mother was a singer and actress. He had actually got his start in acting when he was in Broadway on a show called Slow Dance on the Killing Ground back in 1964. But his breakout role, what really got him into the mainstream, was his role as Link in the show The Mob Squad. In that show, he was started along with Peggy Lipton and Michael Cole. Not not the Michael Cole that's on wrestling, but Peggy Lipton. If you've heard of that, she was the first wife of Quincy Jones. Um, Beyond that, had been in multi he had been in more Broadway shows. He had done different television shows. He was in a few episodes of Tales from the Crypt. He One thing that I remember him from, well, actually, there's multiple things. If you grew up as a product of the '80s and '90s, then you would definitely remember him from the movie Hoodlum and Tales from the Crypt. I mean, sorry, not Tales from the Crypt. I just said that. Um, Tales from the Hood. And Tales from the Hood was an interesting movie, especially when I was watching it. Like it was one of those anthology stories similar to Tales from the Crypt, but this one was more so about dealt more with the African American style, more of urban life, how we see things that we encountered, whether it be how we how we react to racism or how we react to abusive parents and stuff like that. And it's just all about that. It's a really good watch. The way that he plays as the character, he's a little off-putting. Like he's just eccentric, and and the way that he does his eyes, the way that he moves, it's done for a reason. And if you haven't seen it, if you're into horror, I would get it. I would actually watch it because a lot of those segments in there were really, really good. And he's off-putting, and he's just eccentric compared to everybody else, and it's done for a reason. And I'm not going to ruin it for you if you haven't seen it. But there was that, and then he played the drug dealer, um, Samson Simpson, in the movie Half Baked. Now, that's one of the roles that really stuck with me because he was just amazingly funny in that. The way that the way that he would just the way that he would just treat everybody like idiots, and he would carry himself. He was so funny. The line or the moments that stuck out to me the most was when they were trying to set him up. I think the police had them wear a wire, Dave Chappelle and his friends wear a wire and try to get him to admit that he sells drugs, basically. And things go wrong because the police, they're actually high, and then when they start fighting all of his henchwomen, and then they finally go after him, he gets up out of his wheelchair because he was supposed to be in a wheelchair, crippled, and he grabs one of his friends, and he has his gun pointed at him, and then he walks up and he tells him, "Here's what's gonna happen. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take your little Mexican friend here, and I'm gonna kill him." And then the guy says, "Yo, I'm Cuban B," because like and the thing is, he says B, instead of saying like boy or brother or anything like that, he just says B for short. So he'd be like man, B, what's what are we gonna do? Stuff like that. But he said, "I'm gonna take a little Mexican friend here and I'm gonna kill him." And he's like, "Yo, I'm Cuban B," and he's like, "Yes, Cuban B." And it's stupid when anybody else says it, but when you hear him say it, it is hilarious. It's just his delivery, and like that's one thing that really just it's just amazing about this guy, is that he knows what's needed for each role that he plays. But he was an amazing actor, very well respected. He was married to actress Gloria Foster back in 1967. They ended up divorcing in 1984. They had no kids, and they remained good friends until her death. And he was the one that actually announced her death. But with all the stuff that he's done, all these shows and movies that he starred in, like he has left a tremendous legacy behind. Like we always say that there will never be another this person or another that person, but it always rings true. Like you will never see another Chadwick Boseman. Like everybody, and you'll never see another Clarence Williams III. Like this guy just had just such an amazing aura around him. He was just very unique. And to and the thing was, he actually did retire back in 2018. So it wasn't like he died while he was filming movies and stuff like that. He actually took the time to to enjoy life. He he was really a tremendous actor, and to succumb to another disease, colon cancer of all things, and you guys already know my feelings about cancer. It's terrible. Colon cancer was what took Chadwick Boseman away from us. But he will truly be missed. He lived a full life, lived to be 81. I still say that's young. He lived a full life. He had a full career. He he became very iconic, and just wish his family all the best, wishing them condolences. And for that, and for that, I just gotta say thank you again, Mr. Williams, for all your work.